Visiting Rome in 3 days is absolutely doable if you plan it smartly and in advance. Rome might seem small on the map, but it's actually quite hard to get around if you think about the crowds, the traffic, and the cobblestone streets. So for that very reason, we'll divide the major sites like the Colosseum, the Vatican, the Pantheon, etc. into 3 different days, so you will not feel rushed. By the end of this video, you will understand Rome much better and be able to enjoy your trip to the fullest. Now, I won't only talk about monuments and tourist attractions, but also where to stay and where to eat, for example. Whether you're traveling alone, with your family, on a romantic trip, with friends, or just trying to fit in as much as possible. My name is Francesca with Crown Tours, and after guiding people for over 10 years in their travels across Italy, Spain, and France, our local team of coordinators and guides have created the perfect 3-day itinerary just for you. Before diving into the itinerary, let's talk about where you can stay, because that can completely shape your trip. So the first neighborhood I recommend is Prati. It's very calm and elegant, just a few steps away from the St. Peter's Basilica and the Vatican City, and very well connected with public transport by the Metro Line A Ottaviano, which is just about 5 minutes to reach the Vatican City. So I recommend this neighborhood if you're traveling with your family or you're on a romantic trip, because there's a bit of everything there. There's cafes, restaurants, shopping streets, and there are a lot of quiet evenings because it's a bit further away from the city center and also easily connected to all of the major sites, even just by foot. Then there is the San Giovanni neighborhood, which is a local smart alternative if you want something cheaper than the center. It is very well connected with Metro Line A and a link to Line C. So it's a great place to stay if you're traveling with friends or with family. Then you can also decide to stay in Monti, which is a beautiful, trendy, bohemian neighborhood filled with cafes, restaurants, artisan shops, and vintage shops. It's central and very close to the Colosseum. However, it's a little bit hilly and expensive, so do keep that in mind if you prefer flat walking routes. It's a perfect neighborhood if you're traveling in a couple or you are creative travelers. However, if you do not stay in this neighborhood, do pass by because it's a hidden gem. Another option will be to stay in the historic city center, or as the Italians call it, centro storico. If you stay in the center, the prices are going to be the most expensive, obviously. However, if you want that step into the postcard feeling, it's a perfect place to stay and everything is within a walking distance. Then you've probably heard of Trastevere. It's all over social media. It's a great neighborhood to stay if you're looking for the real Roman nightlife. It's always booming with energy, full of restaurants. There are beautiful streets. However, do keep in mind that public transport gets a little bit tricky because there's no metro line. There are loads of taxi stops in that neighborhood. However, if you do plan on renting a car, be wary of the fact that it's a busy zone, so the traffic is everywhere. Last but not least, I'd like to mention the Termini Station or Esquilino neighborhood. Now, this is definitely the more budget-friendly option, and it seems like the most convenient because there's public transport. Everything comes to the Termini Station. If you go from the airport, you will arrive at the Termini Station. However, I do not recommend it because it's the point of entry into the city and it's not the safest at night. Now let's talk about transportation. The easiest way to move around the city is with the metro, with Metro Line A, where most of the famous stops are, like Ottaviano, St. Peter's Basilica, and the Vatican City. There's Barberini, where the Fountain of Trevi is. There's Piazza di Spagna, where the Spanish Steps are, and also Termini Station. Then you have other lines like the Metro Line B, where the Colosseum stop is, and also the Metro Line C, where San Giovanni is. Now, all of these metro lines are connected, so it's very easy to get around. Obviously, you can also take the buses, but do keep in mind they're not the most punctual, especially here in Rome, so the metro is always your safest option. When you use public transport in Rome, I really recommend you get a 3-day ATAC pass. In this way, you will avoid getting fined when taking the bus. It will be more relaxing. You don't have to take out your wallet or your phone constantly. But please, if you do use Roman public transport, always buy a ticket because the fines go from 50 euros up. So you're safe, you're relaxed, and you can travel anywhere. I think the best way to explore Rome is to divide it into 3 days: the historic center, ancient Rome, and the Vatican area. Keep in mind that the Vatican museums are closed on Sunday and will get very busy on Wednesday because of the papal audience. So depending on when you arrive in Rome, move your Vatican day around so you'll be more relaxed. That said, I always recommend you start with the historic center. It's the best way to get into the city and capture what Rome's essence really is, without having to worry about time tickets or entries to museums. You can think about that on the next few days. If you're passionate about travel, history, and discovering cities like a local, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, because we've got so much more itineraries waiting for you. Day 1, the historic center of Rome. This is the day where you get an introduction to Rome, the Rome you've seen in movies and postcards, and the best part, you can walk everywhere. Start your journey at Piazza del Popolo, Metro A Flaminio. Once the main northern gate of Rome, it's a beautiful, elegant piazza. Right in the center, you'll see a huge Egyptian obelisk brought here centuries ago, standing in between two twin churches, Santa Maria dei Miracoli and Santa Maria in Monte Santo. These churches seem almost identical and start the Via del Corso, one of Rome's main shopping streets. If you want to have breakfast, head to Marzapane. It's a great place for specialty coffee and high-end viennosilli. Before you head down, step into the church of Santa Maria del Popolo. It might look simple on the outside, but inside it has two masterpieces by Caravaggio, the master of light and dark. Most people actually walk past this stop, so if you have some time, go and have a peek. If you're traveling with kids or you love the Renaissance, there's also the Leonardo da Vinci Museum. It's full of interactive models of his inventions and sketches you can actually touch. Then take a few minutes to walk up to the Pincio Terrace. It's one of the most beautiful views of Rome, especially if you come at sunset or very early in the morning. Inside the gardens, you can find the Galleria Borghese, which is one of my favorite museums in Rome. Inside you can see works of Bernini, Canova, Caravaggio. Now, if you want to visit this museum, I recommend you get your tickets in advance because it is very often sold out. And if you want a more immersive experience, I recommend you get a guided tour, because in this way you'll be able to hear the history and the stories behind this beautiful art, and you'll be able to look at it from a different perspective. From Piazza del Popolo, you can take Via del Corso, one of Rome's most famous shopping street. Or if you're looking for something a bit more artistic, you can go to Via del Babbuino or Via Margutta, which is full of art galleries, to reach Piazza di Spagna. At the center of the square, you'll spot the Trevi Fountain. It is a half-sunken boat that is said to have been carried here by a flooding of the Tiber River. It's a perfect spot to take pictures with the Spanish steps in the background, and you can even drink water from the fountain. Rising behind it are the famous Spanish steps, leading up to the Trinità dei Monti church. Now, you should definitely climb up the steps to have a beautiful view of Rome's rooftops. Do remember that you cannot drink, eat, or sit on the steps. If you're a literature nerd like me, you should definitely go visit the Keats and Shelley Museum, which is just on the right side of the Spanish steps. It has original manuscript letters from the 19th century, and it feels like stepping back into time. Around the square, the narrow streets are filled with designer stores. Via dei Condotti is home to Gucci, Prada, and the first Bulgari boutique ever opened in the world. Even if you're window shopping, it's still worth a pass by. If you want to feel like a local, stop by Caffè Greco, which is one of the oldest cafes in Italy, dating back to 1760. Loads of writers and poets have stopped here for a coffee, and it still has that old world charm. From Piazza di Spagna, take a short 10-minute walk and you'll reach the Trevi Fountain. Now, you'll hear it before you see it, and once you turn the corner, you will be absolutely stunned. I've lived in Rome my whole life, and every time I see it, I am still shocked by its beauty. The Trevi Fountain was built in the 1700s, but the water still comes from an ancient Roman aqueduct that is running for over 2,000 years. Every day, thousands of euros are thrown into the fountain, collected and donated to charity. If you want to enjoy it without the crowd, because it gets very, very busy during the day, I definitely recommend you come early in the morning or late at night, so you'll have a more enjoyable experience. Just a few minutes walk from the Trevi Fountain, you will reach the Pantheon, one of the most extraordinary buildings of Rome. It's standing here for almost 2,000 years, and it still looks exactly the same as it did in ancient times. And once you step inside, you will understand what I mean. As soon as you go inside, you'll see the dome with its oculus at the top, where light and sometimes even rain falls through. You'll also find the tomb of Raphael, the Renaissance painter and the kings of unified Italy, Vittorio Emanuele II and Umberto I, resting here as symbols of national pride. Entry to the Pantheon used to be free, but now requires a small ticket fee, which you can get online or in the moment. If you want to know more about the engineering and the genius that went behind the building of the Pantheon, I recommend you get a guided tour. In this way, you'll also skip the line and have a more enjoyable experience. experience. When you step back outside, you'll find yourself in Piazza della Rotonda, which is a beautiful square centered by a fountain. In this square, there are loads of cafes and restaurants, but I do not recommend you go there because most of them are tourist traps. Instead of the tourist traps and you're looking for a great lunch spot, here are some local favorites. Brucio for a perfectly crispy, thin style Roman pizza. All'Antico Vinaio for a quick, trendy takeaway that it's a must-try if you're ever in Italy. Trattoria da Gino al Parlamento or Pietro Valentini for a classic sit-down Roman meal. And if you're a coffee lover, the Pantheon area is perfect. There is Tazza d'Oro and Sant'Eustachio Cafe. Locals love to argue about which one is better, so if you're there, try them both and decide for yourself. As the sun begins to set, cross the Tiber River over the charming Ponte Sisto Bridge, or go via Ponte Garibaldi and you'll reach Isola Tiberina, the only island in Rome. It's a small but fascinating spot with ancient bridges on both sides and layers of history dating back to Roman times. Either way, you're now entering Trastevere, one of Rome's most authentic and lively neighborhoods. Trastevere feels like a little village inside the city, with its cobblestone streets, its ivy-colored buildings, and its twinkling lights hanging everywhere. It's where locals come to meet friends, have good food, and enjoy the evening. It's also where you'll find some of the best traditional trattorias in Rome. Start your walk at Basilica di Santa Maria in Trastevere, one of Rome's oldest churches. Step inside for a moment and admire the beautiful golden mosaic. Then wander through the small streets around Piazza di Santa Maria, where the atmosphere is lively and always full of music. If you're spending the evening in Trastevere, this is how to do it right. Start with a good aperitivo. If you're a wine lover, head to Latteria Trastevere, which is a cozy spot with a great selection of local wines and a laid-back atmosphere. If a spritz is more your thing, go to Fiori, where you can sip a drink outside and watch the neighborhood come alive as the sun sets. For dinner, make your way to Trattoria da Teo or Fiera Musca. Both serve traditional Roman dishes like cacio e pepe, gricia, amatriciana. They're not restaurants in the middle of the touristic streets, so they're quiet and you can always just have a stroll through the neighborhood before or after your dinner. If you want to go to these restaurants, book in advance because they're always quite busy. After dinner, head to Gelateria del Viale, which is a hidden local favorite and a must-try gelato spot. If you're not ready to call it a night, go over to Bar San Callisto or Freni e Frizioni. They're go-to spots for young travelers and locals who are just looking for a conversation, a cocktail, and that unmistakable Roman nightlife. It's the perfect way to end your first evening in Rome. Good food, good company, and the kind of atmosphere that you'll remember long after you left Rome. Day 2 is where you step into ancient Rome, the world of emperors, of gladiators, and of the epic history that shaped Rome. Start your morning at the Colosseum, the place you've probably seen in a massive amount of photos, but when you stand in front of it for the first time, you will be absolutely shocked. Just imagine the 50,000 spectators on the inside cheering for these gladiator games. It's an experience that you'll always remember. But before you start your Colosseum adventure, you should do it the right way, with a nice breakfast, because trust me, visiting ancient Rome does take up quite a bit of energy. So go and grab a cornetto or grab an espresso in the cafes around the Colosseum and you'll be ready to go. Entrance to the Colosseum now requires a time ticket, which also includes the Roman Forum and the Palatine Hill. You can book your tickets online or in person, however, the lines do get very long, especially after 9:30 a.m. If you want a smoother experience, go for a skip the line or a guided tour. It will move faster and you can choose to get extra access to areas like the arena floor and underground tunnels, which usually are not included in the regular ticket. The Colosseum can be overwhelming, and without any details, you will miss all the fascinating history behind it. This is why doing a guided tour, apart from it being easier and a more relaxed way to visit the Colosseum, you'll also find out a new part of ancient Rome and facts that maybe you've never heard about. If you're visiting in summer, you should definitely go early in the morning, which are the less hotter hours, because in the midday it gets really hot, especially around 2-3 o'clock. If you're visiting us in winter, I would recommend you go a little bit later in the day, because in the morning it gets quite cold. After exploring the Colosseum, continue into the Roman Forum, which was a center of social and political life in ancient Rome. This is where you walk amongst ruins, see the temples, and just imagine how the ancient Romans used to live. This is the perfect place where having a guide can really help to bring these ruins to life. From there, make your way up to the Palatine Hill, the legendary birthplace of Rome. It's also where the emperors built their palaces and today offers some of the best views of the Colosseum and the Roman Forum. Take your time to wander. The gardens and the viewpoints here are peaceful and often less crowded. If you have some spare time or energy left after your tour, you can also visit these places. The Arch of Constantine, the Domus Aurea, Nero's Golden House, Colle Oppio Park. From here, you'll get one of the best panoramic views of the Colosseum. After soaking in the ancient world, I know you must be hungry, so let's find a lovely lunch spot and head over to Monti, which is just a few-minute walk away. It's just a short walk from the Colosseum, but it feels like a completely different world. Quieter, more creative, and full of character. As I said before, Monti is a mix of bohemian charm and the old Roman soul. You'll find narrow cobblestone streets with colorful buildings and artisan workshops, plus tiny boutiques selling jewelry, leather goods, and vintage clothes. For lunch, you'll be spoiled with choice. For a cozy Roman meal, try La Taverna Romana, a traditional trattoria known for its classics like amatriciana and carbonara. If you're craving pizza, Pizzeria alle Carrette serves the typical thin Roman-style pizza. Or if you prefer something quick and casual, you can grab a slice of takeaway pizza from La Prezzemolina and eat it right at the Piazza, just like the locals do. Before you leave Monti, make sure to stop by Gelateria dell'Angelo, which is a gluten-free option, and you should definitely try the pistachio and ricotta flavors. The heart of the neighborhood is Piazza della Madonna dei Monti. This is a place where the locals gather to have something to eat or grab an espresso and sit by the fountain. It really feels like a movie set. From Monti, we continue our walk to Piazza Venezia, one of the busiest and striking squares in Rome. It's impossible to miss the massive white marble monument that dominates the view, called Il Vittoriano, also known as the Altare della Patria or Altar of the Fatherland. Built in honor of King Vittorio Emanuele II, it is built as a celebration of the unification of Italy. Some Romans even call it the wedding cake because of its layers and its color, but no matter what you think, it's always going to be impressive. You can climb or take an elevator to the top to enjoy one of the best panoramic views in the city. From there, you'll see the Colosseum, the Roman Forum, and the domes of the historic center. And if you go there at sunset, you'll be in for a treat. Just behind the monument, head up to the Campidoglio hill, one of the ancient 7 hills of Rome and designed by Michelangelo. Here you'll also find the Capitoline Museums, one of the oldest public museums in the world. If you're an art or history lover, it's definitely worth a visit. Inside there are loads of ancient sculptures, Roman mosaics, and the iconic bronze she-wolf feeding the twins of Rome, Romulus and Remus. Before leaving, make sure to walk to the viewpoint behind the Campidoglio. You can have a close-up of the Roman Forum, a beautiful view, and it's a perfect spot to snap a picture. From the Campidoglio hill, take a short walk to Teatro Marcello. You'll pass by the Theatre of Marcellus, which looks like a smaller version of the Colosseum, but still as impressive. It was actually built way before it during the time of Emperor Augustus, and it could fit around 15,000 spectators. Today, part of it is still standing with apartments built on the upper level. It's a perfect example of how new and old blend together in Rome. Continue along this road and you'll arrive in one of the oldest neighborhoods in Rome, the Jewish Ghetto. This area dates back to the 1500s and still carries a very strong sense of community, tradition and great food. Make sure to try the famous carciofi alla Giudia, which is a crispy fried artichoke cooked in the traditional Roman Jewish way. You can taste them at Nonna Betta, Baghetto or Sora Margherita, which are 3 of the best known spots in this neighborhood. As you stroll through, don't miss the view of the Portico d'Ottavia, which are ancient Roman ruins standing right in the middle of the neighborhood, and the Great Synagogue of Rome. From here, it's only a few-minute walk to Campo dei Fiori, one of Rome's most vibrant squares. During the day, it's filled with colorful market stalls selling flowers, spices and fruits, and in the evening it transforms for aperitivo time. For dinner, Campo dei Fiori and the Jewish Ghetto are perfect for food. If you want something authentic and homemade, go to Sora Margherita, which I mentioned before, or Osteria La Quercia, which is a cozy spot with a real Roman feeling. If you're craving pizza, the thick Neapolitan kind, which is different from the Roman one, you can head to Mariuccia. Day 3, the Papal Day, the Vatican and beyond. Your final day takes you to the Vatican City, the smallest country in the world, yet holds some of the greatest artistic treasures ever created. Trust me, you'll need plenty of energy for your Vatican day, so it's time for breakfast. Whether you get off at Metro A Ottaviano or with the bus at Piazza Risorgimento, head to Pasticceria Parenti. It's one of my personal favorites. It has great coffee, great pastries, and also if you're looking for something savory, they also have stuffed panini. Start early in the morning at the Vatican museums because the lines do get long very quickly. Even with tickets, it's best to book online in advance and pick an early time slot because your visit is going to be much more relaxed. Inside, you'll find kilometers of galleries filled with treasures, like the Gallery of Maps, the Gallery of Tapestries, and of course, the Raphael rooms. The big celebrity of the Vatican museums is the Sistine Chapel. It's a quiet, almost sacred space where no photos or talking is allowed, so just take a moment, look up, and take it all in. You can absolutely explore the Vatican museums on your own, especially if you like moving at your own pace. But keep in mind, I've been to the Vatican museums, fortunately, a lot of times, and the complex is huge. It can get very crowded and easy to miss the highlights. Guided tours often include access to the St. Peter's Basilica through an internal passage from the Sistine Chapel. If you were to buy a normal ticket, you'd have to go outside of the museums and queue up all over again. So it saves you a lot of time and you'll be able to enjoy the experience much more. Now make your way to St. Peter's Basilica, the largest and most important church in the Catholic world. Even before you enter, take a moment to also look at the St. Peter's Square. With the colonnade of Bernini, it looks like the Catholic world is welcoming you inside. Here's a visiting tip. If you can, climb the dome or cupola, where you can have a 360-degree view of Rome. Please do keep in mind that the elevator only goes halfway up. Then there are still around 300 stairs to do, so if you're traveling with family or elderly people, it might not be the best option. But if you do, it's definitely worth it. Before you leave, don't miss what's hidden beneath the basilica. There are the Vatican grottos, where lots of popes and monarchs are buried. It's open to visitors, deeply atmospheric, and a great contrast to the grandeur above. After you're done with visiting the Vatican City, you can take a stroll down Via della Conciliazione, which is a wide, elegant street that connects the Vatican City to the rest of Rome. As you walk, you should turn around a few times to see the Dome of St. Peter's beautifully framed in between the buildings. At the end of Via della Conciliazione, you'll find Castel Sant'Angelo, a massive fortress sitting along the Tiber River. It was originally built over 2,000 years ago as a mausoleum for Emperor Hadrian, and over the centuries has transformed from a papal residence to a prison to a secret passageway for the popes. In fact, you can visit the secret escape route called Il Passetto di Borgo. If you want to visit Castel Sant'Angelo, it requires a small ticket fee, which you can buy online or on-site. If you have time, you should definitely go up to the terrace. From there, you'll be rewarded with one of the most romantic views in Rome, where you can see the Tiber River, the domes of the Roman rooftops, and of course, the St. Peter's Basilica. When you exit, take a few minutes to walk along Ponte Sant'Angelo, the beautiful pedestrian bridge lined with the angels made by Bernini and his students. Now, let's cross the river and head towards Piazza Navona. It's definitely time to have some lunch. Here, you can stop at Antica Fricitoria La Masardona, which is famous for its Neapolitan-style pizza and fried specialties. Or, if you're in a mood for pasta, you can head to Locanda dei Coronari, which is a charming trattoria with those typical cozy Roman dishes. Now you're on your way to Via dei Coronari, one of my favorite streets to walk on in Rome. This cobblestone street was once part of the route that medieval pilgrims took to reach St. Peter's and is now lined with antique shops, art galleries, and little boutiques that sell beautiful souvenirs if you're thinking of buying something a bit more special. It's not as crowded as the big square, so you can slow down and feel the rhythm of local life. Continue walking and you'll soon reach Piazza Navona, where your journey through Rome comes full circle. Piazza Navona is one of the most beautiful and atmospheric squares in Rome. It was actually built on top of an ancient Roman stadium, and if you still look at the shape, it's oval, just like the arena that used to be here. Today the square is lined by Baroque palaces, cafes, restaurants, and lots of street artists selling their paintings and sketches. At the center stands Bernini's Fountain of the Four Rivers, where each figure represents a famous river in the world, like the Ganges, the Nile, the Danube, and the Rio della Plata. In front of it is the Church of Borromini, Sant'Agnese in Agone, which is definitely worth a visit. As the day comes to an end, enjoy your final dinner in Rome around the area of Piazza Navona. Start with an aperitivo at Il Ghetto, which is a tiny wine bar tucked inside a historic building. For your main meal, you can't go wrong with cul de sac, which is a local favorite known for its traditional Roman recipes and excellent wine list, and also one of the best tiramisus in town. If you want something more casual and quick, you could go to Da Tonino, a true Roman trattoria. End your evening with a gelato, of course, from Gelateria del Teatro or Frigidario. Both are just steps away from Piazza Navona and beloved by locals. And if you're still craving a tiramisu, head to Two Sizes. They have so many flavors, it's trending all over social media, and it's definitely a must try. Now we have come to the end of our journey. If you follow this 3-day itinerary, the historic heart, ancient Rome, and the Vatican City, you can hit all the icons without rushing past the magic in between, the coffee bars, the restaurants, and that atmosphere that really makes Rome come alive. Remember to pace yourself, book timed entries, and always leave a little room for relaxing, because Rome has a beautiful way of surprising you when you least expect it. If you want to keep exploring with us in real life, don't forget to check our website for our guided tours and experiences in Italy, Spain, and France. We would love to show you around. If this video was helpful, save it for later and share it with the person you're traveling to Rome with. And if you've got any questions, drop them in the comments and we'll point you in the right direction. Buon viaggio, and I'll see you in Rome.